This is a Fox San Antonio special. Fugitives on the Run.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Dami Virgin. Over the last 2 years here at Fox San Antonio, we've been working with federal and local law enforcement agencies to highlight the most wanted fugitives hiding out in our area. This in an effort to help get them off the streets before they strike again. Our weekly On the Run segments, a partnership with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, has been a success with over 80% of the fugitives we've highlighted getting captured. That's thanks to the Fox San Antonio viewers and to the hard work of the Bexar County Warrants Division. It's the element of surprise that these deputies pray is always on their side.
We're gonna take the door.
But it's skill that helps these law officers stay alive and get their man
Sheriff's Office!
or woman. For 3 days, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office Fugitive Apprehension Unit allowed Fox San Antonio to ride with them as they went after suspects with felony warrants on the east side of the county, from the Glen to Sunrise to Live Oak.
They've all had the rise in crime, and we've noticed the congregation of the criminal element out there.
It's believed a city gang injunction in East San Antonio is pushing gang members to the county.
The gang injunction's not going to get me out here, so they think they're safe, but they're not.
Jonathan Wright is among the 91 people arrested. In his house near I-10 and St. Hedwig, deputies say they found thousands in stolen property. It's the second time this month the county has made this kind of discovery here. Among those picked up, Eric Dukes. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, Dukes is a convicted sex offender who failed to register. He was found right behind us in the home where the basketball hoop is down on the ground. That has neighbors frightened because many children would play there. On Friday, deputies picked up Dukes here on Oak Marsh in Live Oak.
It gives me the shakes just thinking about it.
Dukes was staying here with a cousin.
That's scary. That's scary because kids are out in front of that house all the time.
6 others were picked up nearby, and sheriff's investigators say they're just getting started.
We're going to go after the criminals, whether they like it or not.
Deputy Chief Tammy Burr is in charge of the Fugitive Apprehension Unit at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, and she's seen the response from the viewers. And I just want to ask you, when you hear these calls, people saying, I saw them, how do you feel when you have so many people in the community taking part in all of this?
You know, I think it's really exhilarating when, you know, we team up with the media, we team up with our communities, and they all help local law enforcement to get these fugitives off the street. It's the greatest feeling in the world to go from our most wanted page and to be able to put them over on our captured page. It is just a great feeling knowing that it was a combined effort from the community, the media, and law enforcement to get these people where they belong. Okay, so how good is San Antonio doing right now? Oh, they're doing very well. You know, since we started this program, we have an 80% success rate with our On the Run segment that's featured on Fox 29. Wow, that's amazing. Let me ask you, because I know a few times we've actually gotten to ride out with you guys, and people sometimes help these fugitives to hide out, and they can get in trouble for this. That's very true. You know, we've had several instances, one that you will recall at Spaghetti Warehouse.
One of our callers was adamant that he was here on Sunday and he was her waiter.
Deputies questioned managers who at first said he hadn't worked here. According to the sheriff's office, they soon changed their tune.
He had told everybody to tell the cops I'm not here.
One hostess is now behind bars after investigators say she was seen texting Ontiveros to warn him.
Initially she lied, and then she came clean and said yes, she was texting Julian Ontiveros, letting him know that the cops were here.
You know, we've had instances where we go into houses and people are hiding people in closets, under beds. I mean, in very strange circumstances, but, you know, it all comes together and we get our guy. Now, she was also charged with something. The girlfriend was the one working at the Spaghetti Warehouse and tipped him off about coming into work. What did you guys get her for? Exactly. Julian Ontiveros wasn't the only one that went to jail that day. She was also arrested for hindering apprehension, and she also went to jail. Do you have one of those cases that you just wish that we could get them off the streets? I certainly do. You know, I made a promise to a detective that I would do everything within my power to make sure that this couple was brought to justice before he retires, and that is a case of Pablo Torrescano and his alleged girlfriend, Belinda Saucedo Fernandez. And they are both charged with unspeakable acts against Belinda's children. where the mother of those children, Belinda Fernandez, allowed Pablo Torrescano to commit sexual acts against her children in her presence, out of her presence, and she was very well aware of it.
This is one of the most horrific cases that I've seen.
Belinda Sauceda Fernandez and the alleged abuser, her boyfriend, Pablo Elia Torrescano, have been on the run since 2005.
The mother of these two victims knew of the abuse and allowed it to happen, and therefore she's charged with injury to a child, serious bodily injury by omission. Torrescano was sexually abusing two girls age 11 and 13 for approximately 2 years before he was caught.
While they lived here in San Antonio, both have ties to Del Rio.
We're looking for anyone who has seen them since 2005, if they would just call us and give us whatever information they have. These individuals could have assumed someone else's identity, could be using someone else's social security number, could be using someone else's name.
That was back in 2003. He's been on the run since. And again, we're very much pursuing this case, and we'd love to hear anything anybody's got to say about it.
How does it make you guys feel when you see another poster and you can put captured on it?
Oh, I think it's great. You know, I mean, like I said before, that's the best feeling in the world, to know that, you know, we all came together. It was a combined effort with everyone, you know, doing what they needed to do to help us put these people behind bars.
What would you tell viewers is the most important information that they can give you when they call?
You know, whatever information they have at the time, for officer safety, of course, if they know that this person's armed, that's going to be very important to us. But the location of the person, the best description you can possibly give of the person, and again, why do you think that this is the person that we are looking for? Thank you, Chief Burr, and we hope to reach more than 80%. Maybe we'll get to 100% with our Fox San Antonio viewers. Thank you. Thank you. And this month, the Sheriff's Office needs your help on a special manhunt. A hunt for the most dangerous female fugitives in our county. Now we're asking Fox San Antonio viewers to help the Sheriff's Office find a woman who apparently is still mad over a relationship that ended long ago and that now has her on the run. It's not known exactly what Vivian Salinas is still mad at her ex about, but according to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, it can't be good because she's still dishing out the punishment, and that has landed her on the list of the most dangerous females in this county. Vivian Salinas looks like the girl next door, but the girl next door doesn't usually get charged with aggravated robbery of her ex-boyfriend. According to authorities, it was February of this year when Salinas and her new man found her ex-boyfriend right here on the 300 block of Menifee.
They got out of their vehicle and went and approached the ex-boyfriend. At that time, the unidentified male began beating the ex-boyfriend brutally about the face, neck, and shoulder area.
As the victim is being beaten, Salinas steps up the assault and pulls out a weapon.
Vivian Salinas is waving a handgun around demanding money from her ex-boyfriend.
While the beating continues, Salinas gets a little closer and cleans out her ex's pockets.
Vivian Salinas continues to point the gun at him, waving the gun at him, and reaches into his pocket and grabs $180 from him.
Salinas was charged that same day with aggravated robbery. Since then, she has failed to comply with the conditions set on her bond and has disappeared. The pretty girl by now may have cut her hair off or found a way to alter her appearance, but she can't get rid of the chino tattooed on her neck. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office at 210-335-8477. And remember, you can run, but you can't hide from Fox San Antonio viewers. We have seen fugitives from all walks of life, and their crimes are sometimes more bizarre than fiction. But this week's On the Run fugitive is a mother who committed her violent act of crime against her own daughter. She's a mother you definitely don't want to mess with, and that's what Sylvia Gomez Paez's daughter found out earlier this year. In March of this year, Paez was desperate and in search of money, according to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. And that's when things got violent between Paez and her daughter here on the 1900 block of I-35 North, when the young woman refused to help her mom get a fix for her habit.
She was upset and she was requesting money from her daughter to buy drugs.
The mother-daughter fight erupted when the daughter told her mom that she was tired of paying for everything, including her drugs.
At some point, the mother, Sylvia Paez, grabbed a kitchen knife with a blade approximately 6 inches long and held it up to her daughter's neck.
According to the police report, she made a small cut on her neck as her daughter screamed, "Go ahead and do it. People die every day."
Sylvia Paez again became within close enough distance to her daughter, and she stabbed her in her knee.
The daughter then managed to get out of the apartment and get help, but refused to file charges against her mom. But due to the level of violence Paez displayed, the state filed charges against her for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Obviously, to stab your own daughter, you probably have to be pretty desperate in order to get that money to go purchase those drugs.
And last night, just after we aired this segment, a few calls came in that actually led deputies to where Paez has been hiding. Paez was arrested on I-35 thanks to Fox San Antonio viewers. They have been the focus of movies and TV shows for decades, and for the last 2 years, our own U.S. Marshals for the Western District have been partnering with Fox San Antonio to catch fugitives, a partnership that has caught many by surprise, thanks to you, Fox San Antonio viewers. The U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force would like to get David Cano off the streets.
He was formally indicted by a grand jury in Bexar County on allegations of sexually assaulting 2 children found in possession of a firearm, possession of child pornography, distribution of child pornography, and receipt of child pornography.
We like to go after them as quickly as possible, take them off the streets as quickly as possible, because we believe that with very many of them, we're preventing them from committing other crimes.
Mr. Soto has multiple tattoos that he can be identified by. Soon after the warrant became active, Moreno Viela went into hiding and is currently on fugitive status.
Cano is a convicted sex offender who failed to register.
We're looking for him, and we're asking your viewers to once again assist us in taking him off the street.
And remember, fugitives can't hide from Fox San Antonio viewers. In the scorching heat of summer, the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force decided to crank up the heat a little more.
We're going to make it as difficult as possible for you to operate in the San Antonio area.
With the help of San Antonio Police, Bexar County Sheriff's Office, DEA, ATF, and other agencies, several fugitives' days on the run were cut short thanks to Operation Heatwave.
It's the collaborative effort between all these agencies to make the community much safer.
We're going to be on both ends of the block.
7 multi-agency teams with a stack of warrants spread out all the way to Kerrville. Violators from aggravated assault suspects to sex offenders were on the radar.
We're going to go after you.
A warrant issued yesterday out of Dallas targeted a well-known San Antonian. Former Dallas Cowboy Sam Hurd is found hours later outside the YMCA on New Braunfels. Hurd failed 2 drug tests and violated his bond. Hurd is one of 200 fugitives picked up in the week-long operation. Weapons and narcotics were also taken off the streets.
We had a seizure of about 100 plants, indoor growth. We're looking to try to take this federally, of course.
The final warrant picked up today was for one of Comal County's top 10 most wanted. Karen Torres has 2 DWIs, both while investigators say her young son was riding in a vehicle she was driving. Although the operation ended today, the marshals say the heat will stay turned up on fugitives.
If you have a warrant out there, you better turn yourself in, because it's not a matter of if we're going to arrest you, it's only a matter of when.
Deputy Chris Bozeman is with us from the U.S. Marshals. Chris, just how important is the help that you get from the community every Sunday night?
It's extremely important to get all the help that we possibly can from the public. The United States Marshal Service Lone Star Fugitive Task Force is first of all very grateful for all of the help that the public provides us with the different tips for the fugitives that we're looking for. A lot of times we're not able to locate certain fugitives due to the fact that they're hiding out maybe with friends or with family members, or they may quite possibly have left the city altogether. But there's always someone out there that knows where this individual is. There's someone out there that has some type of contact with that particular fugitive. And so every time that we get a tip, we take it seriously and we definitely follow up on it.
And I know when we get these segments, we get people that have all types of charges, but a lot of times when we're out on the streets, people say the U.S. Marshals are looking for sex offenders. That seems to be high priority for you guys.
Well, definitely. When it comes down to trying to locate sex offenders, the Adam Walsh Act does name the United States Marshal Service as the main agency that's able to assist local and state agencies when it comes down to making sure that these sex offenders are registering like they're supposed to. There are certain laws that need to be followed when they are considered sex offenders. So that means that they need to stay in constant contact with these agencies, letting them know where their whereabouts are, where their address is, and things of that nature. Now, if any particular time a sex offender does not register, meaning that they go to another state or they go to another location, that's when the United States Marshal Service gets involved, and we definitely track these individuals down and we do place them under arrest.
And I know I ask you this every single time that we have a sex offender on Sunday nights. How important is it if someone is hiding them and they think, oh, they won't do this to my child because they're family? How important is it for them to realize that that may not be the case?
Well, it's really important because if someone is a sexual predator, that means that they've actually committed a crime already, whether it's to a child or another person. So if they've already committed this crime, that means that they're capable of committing it again. And so we want to make sure that people are well aware that these individuals who are sex offenders, they are still dangerous. So if someone is hiding a sex offender out in a home where children are there, then now they're putting those children at risk. And that's something that we definitely don't want to happen.
So let me ask you, out of all the cases that we've done, we're almost to the 100th segment. I can't believe it, almost 2 years. Out of all of those segments, is there a case that you guys are really still looking for someone that stands out?
Definitely. One of the main cases that comes to mind is going to be the case against Anselmo Rodriguez. Now, this was an individual who was tried, convicted, and found guilty for sexual assault of a child. He's going to be extremely dangerous. Whenever you have someone who is willing to harm a child, and in this particular situation, harm 2 children, we really want the public to understand that this person can actually strike again, and that's why it is so important for us to take him into custody as soon as possible.
Rodriguez was found guilty on Monday of sexually assaulting 2 children. Instead of being taken into custody, he was allowed to go home with the ankle monitor he had been wearing before the trial started. On Tuesday, Rodriguez was sentenced to life without parole, even though he was already long gone. Now, the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force has been brought in to find Rodriguez, whether it's here or in Mexico.
We do understand that Mr. Rodriguez was born in Laredo, Texas. We have received information that Mr. Rodriguez also has ties to the Republic of Mexico. So we are actively doing everything possible in order to find his whereabouts.
The Marshals warn that if someone is assisting or harboring him, they will also face federal charges.
The U.S. Marshal Service Lone Star Fugitive Task Force is offering a reward for any information that will lead to the arrest or apprehension of Mr. Rodriguez. This happened back in July of 2012, and then after cutting off that ankle monitor, he did flee San Antonio, and then of course we do believe that he fled to Mexico. And so this is an individual who has sexually assaulted a child, someone who is still considered dangerous, someone who's still out there on the run, and we definitely want to make sure that we put him behind bars as soon as possible.
In some of these cases, one, you know, they may have gone to Mexico, and number 2, they may be very old. So if someone has information, is it still important if it's 5, 10 years later?
Definitely. It's very important regardless of how old these cases are, because every little tip that we receive can help us out in order to find these fugitives who are on the run. A lot of times we'll have a fugitive, like you said, they may be on the run for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Regardless of the situation, that warrant for their arrest is still active. Any information that the public can provide us with will help us to track down these fugitives and arrest them.
Chris, thank you so much for being here every single Sunday night. And again, if you have any information on any of the fugitives you see on Marshall's Most Wanted, you can call their Lone Star Fugitive Task Force at 210-657-8500. We would like to thank both Sheriff Susan Pomerleau and U.S. Marshal Robert Almonte for partnering with us and empowering our community, especially Fox San Antonio viewers, through these two popular segments. If you have any information on the on-the-run suspects, you can call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office at 210-335-8477. And for the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, you can call 210-657-8500. Now remember, in some cases, there are rewards available. And remember, fugitives can't hide from Fox San Antonio viewers. Maximum Sports is up next.